Nicholas in the Chicago area says, I hear people point to Romans 1 in regards to the USA. Does Romans 1 apply to the dispensation of grace, or will this be for the Jews during the tribulation when the dispensation of the law returns? Now, this a little bit probably depends on exactly what you're referring to, but my guess is, and you can correct me, Nicholas, if I'm wrong, but my guess is probably what the reference here is the fact that God gave them over. It speaks of the nations of the world, and these nations had a revelation of God given through creation to the point that they're without excuse, and yet they chose not to pursue the information in that revelation all the way to the point where it would lead them to understanding who God is and to understanding the Creator, and so they worshiped then the creation instead of the Creator, and all of that is they took a shortcut, that rather than pursue the revelation that was given, for example, the revelation in the stars even, that was given as the heavens declare the glory of God, and there's that declaration of the glory of God and even the purpose of God, but rather than follow it, they said, well, within us there is a need for the worship of God, so we'll just take this wood or stone and we'll create our own God and fulfill the need. It was a shortcut that was taken. And so God gave them over to their own lusts, even to the point then that men began to have passions for men and women for women, and you know how that passage of Scripture goes in Romans chapter 1 and 2. Now, I happen to think that that section of the book of Romans, Paul is giving an overview, a theological overview, or some underpinnings to theology, and it's underpinnings to the age of grace that really applies more to what has happened in the past. In fact, I think Romans 1 probably is a summary, if you will, of Genesis chapters, let's say 1 through 11. In the process of departing from God, here's how it happens. You want to know how it happened? You can read Genesis 1 through 11, or you can read Romans 1 for the Cliff Notes version. And this tells how man got away from God. Now, let's think about your specific question here. Is this for the dispensation of grace, or is it for Jews during the tribulation time? I think that in the book of Romans, what you've got is that we have, let me try to put this, in the book of Genesis, you've got many things that describe or apply to today in that sense, but they're really about what took place then. I think Romans 1 is the same way. Can you look around and see evidence that Romans 1 is true in the United States today? Yes, you can. So I don't think it's written describing actually today in the dispensation of grace or the future in the dispensation of the tribulation. I think it's describing that which happened long ago at the beginning of creation when mankind rejected God and turned towards the Creator, and it explains again how we got in this mess we're in, and that's what Paul is doing there. I think there are some other things in the book of Romans that only apply to the future, to the Jewish nation that is under the tribulation. I don't think Romans chapter 1 is one of those. So, excellent question.